From the deep southeast corner of Arizona to the bright city lights of Las Vegas, this is Mackenzie Kimbrough, a sixth-generation cattle rancher with deep roots in rodeo too. Embracing our heritage and keeping legacies alive, stay tuned as we showcase shades of our southwestern lifestyle coming together during the NFR. Ranching, rodeo, fashion, and cowboy culture. This is Roots Run Deep, Vegas edition. Hey friends, welcome into Roots Run Deep Vegas edition. I'm your host, Mackenzie Kimbrough, and joining me on the show today is a fellow host, someone I'm so excited to have on the show with me today. You have a podcast of your own. It's called Musical Miles, Mr. Byron Duffin. Thank you so much for being here with me today.
Thanks for having me, Mackenzie. This is different for me. It's easy for me to talk to anyone, but to be in the hot seat and get the questions asked of me. So
it's going to be a fun day. I've got a whole laundry list here of questions for you. Okay. But before we get things started, I'd love to know more about your roots and where you come from.
So I tell everybody I'm an Idaho farm boy that always wanted to be a cowboy. And so I grew up on a potato farm in southeast Idaho, a little town called Aberdeen. Got into the horse deal at about 15 years old, and rodeoed, roped calves, team roped, went to the high school national finals in the tie down roping, and then rode cutting horses for years. And so that was my love for many, many years. But the last 10-15 years I've spent in the ag industry, running manufacturing companies. So
that's awesome. It's neat to be able to diversify a career, I think. And then here, just even more recently, you've started a podcast of your own, and it's already really taken off. There's been some amazing moments that we'll get into here shortly. But before I do, I know you're so rooted in family as well. Your wife, Shanda, was the reason that we connected here at this NFR. And I'd love for you to just be able to touch on, you've got quite the family support system. Just talk about them for a second before we get into everything else.
Oh, for sure. Well, Miss Shanda and I have been married for 43 years. She's from Arizona, like you. Yeah. We have 4 children, 9 grandchildren, and a great grandson. And so, big family, big support. And our daughter, Callie, is the reason we actually started the podcast. Miss Shanda is usually the producer on our show. So
exactly. So I'd love to just jump right into it then. Tell us what sparked this idea, because as you mentioned, your daughter was really the creative moment that started it all. And then your wife, Shanda, produces and you guys work together. Yeah. What started this idea?
Well, I found myself suddenly and unexpectedly retired, July 1st of 2004, or 24 rather. And I was 63 and a half years old. And my daughter said, "What are you going to do, Dad?" And I said, "That's a good question, Callie. I don't know what we'll do." And she said, "I think you and Mom ought to do a podcast." And I said, "I like that idea, but she had this big broad idea of what we should do."
Sure.
But we thought about it, talked about it, and decided to focus on music because of our love of live music. And 2 weeks later, we had the equipment and we were filming our first episode.
That's the best way to do it. Just jump in with both feet and figure it out as you go.
Well, I had been on a podcast, so I knew somebody had asked the questions.
Perfect.
So
that helps.
Yeah, that does help.
It does. You can't just go in completely cold, but jumping into it, you've had a lot of momentum for only having started this in 2024. There's been some really memorable artists that you've been able to talk to. There's a whole list of those coming up here in just a minute, but what is the heart behind the stories that you tell on Musical Miles?
Well, I think the whole point to this was to share the artists and their music with new followers, right? And share our love of those experiences that people couldn't experience. We wanted to share through our eyes and our own experiences. So what we and then it's kind of evolved a little bit in that we decided we wanted to kind of pull back the curtain on the music industry and help people understand how this whole musical process happens, right?
Yeah, and I think that's something a lot of people don't get the privilege of knowing about. And it's so interesting how complex the music industry really is and how many people have a hand in making the songs that are hits on the radio or that are going viral on social media. It's not just the artist and their band. There's labels and managers and all these people and all of the songwriters and then also all of the musicians that often get overlooked as well. So many incredible talents out there. It's really neat to know how you're sharing their stories. When you were first starting to do these interviews, were you going into these prepared, or was this kind of a go to an event like the national finals and
By the
try to
seat
get
of my
all try
pants.
to get it
Yeah.
all ready at the same time?
We so the very first episode we filmed was a young man by the name of Heath Clark, who he's an Arizona artist from Sholo, Michiana. Went to school with his mother. His dad and grandpa played at our wedding.
Wow.
We had that live band at our wedding. So I thought it appropriate to interview Heath first. What a great interview. He's now living in Nashville and doing the deal. And so no, I've always kind of I've been able to ask the questions. I can talk to anybody. So to be able, and I'm very inquisitive how things work and operate business wise and otherwise. But so I went into these interviews really, and I prepare. I mean, I
Yeah.
listen to their music. I understand, I try and know how many albums they've got out and their latest singles and then I ask, some kind of some of the same general questions, but like you do a little bit, but
Sure. Yeah. And really just trying to get into the heart behind what they do and the
sure.
journey and the process that each of them has had. Because while similar, of course, they all have their own unique experiences as well. And it's neat to be able to hear those stories. And I know it's always a fun time when we have musicians up here. So I really love the idea of what you have going. You've interviewed quite a few memorable artists and songwriters and amazing people. Just give me a rundown of some of your favorites along the way.
Man, it's hard to pick favorites, but there are some. Most recently, probably the Aaron Ratier. Aaron Ratier is the co-writer on "You Look Like You Love Me" with Elle Langley and Riley Green. Aaron was a blast to interview. He's just such a hoot, and that song was nominated along with another song that he wrote, "4 by 4 by You" for Lainey Wilson, and they were both nominated for Song of the Year at the CMAs. And fortunately he won with one of those songs, which
Yeah.
was "You Look Like You Love Me," and that song actually swept the entire every category they were nominated for. They won Single of the Year, Song of the Year. They won Video of the Year as well as Event of the Year. So what a great story, and he's so funny. He also wrote the Armadillo song for Miranda Lambert,
Oh, wow.
and that song is hilarious. Just the story. So the story, what we love is the backstories. How
Yeah.
did that song come about?
Mhm.
And go watch that episode because it's just hilarious, just how that whole thing went.
Oh, man, and I can't wait to watch it, of course. So many episodes to watch. We have a long drive home, which is great because we get to watch a bunch of them and listen to all of these amazing stories. Before we get further into the interview, since you mentioned it, how can people watch and follow along?
So we're on all streaming platforms under musicalmilespodcast.com. So or Musical Miles Podcast. We have a YouTube channel which is we video all our episodes as you do. So we're on YouTube and all streaming platforms and all social media all under the same name, Musical Miles Podcast.
Perfect. The branding side of me loves that for you because it's easy
Me
to
too.
find. Yeah, easy to find and easy for everybody to follow along with, which is great because undoubtedly I know this is going to be continue to be a super successful podcast. Going back to talking to those songwriters that have had such success in their careers as well. It's it's fun to know the personalities behind them because they're able to have such a range in the songs that they're writing, and I think people may not understand how hard it probably is to be a songwriter in Nashville. There's a lot of collaborative, but then there's a lot of pitching and a lot of songs don't get picked up.
Oh, hundreds, if not tens of thousands, and those songwriters' catalogs are huge. Most people don't understand that, and not to, but major artists that you're hearing on the radio, most of the time did not write those songs. Sometimes they're co-writers on those songs, but we had the opportunity to interview Dean Dillon, which is the legendary
Incredible.
songwriter.
Yeah.
Dean has 87 cuts with George Strait, 11 number ones. He wrote The Chair, he wrote Oceanfront Property, he wrote Marina Del Rey. He also wrote Miami, Miami for Keith Whitley, Spilled Perfume with Pam Tillis. I mean, the list goes on and on. It has 27 number one hits to his credit.
That's incredible. He is a legend and one that I'm so lucky. And I know you feel this way too that we're able to watch his career and his story in our
Oh,
lifetime.
yeah, yeah. And there's so many that we would love to have the opportunity to interview at some point. We've been fortunate. Last year we came to the NFR kind of blind. We came in with 4 interviews on the schedule, and we did 18. This year I had a half a dozen on the schedule, and I'm going to walk away with I think 16 interviews this year with May Estes,
Yes.
Sammy Kershaw,
Wow.
that happened here this year at the NFR. We also got the opportunity to interview a guy by the name of Niall Henson, and Niall is the creator of Nickelodeon, MTV, and CMT. What a cool story that was.
Oh, that's an amazing opportunity. What a powerhouse he was. And I know you didn't exactly go searching for him. He kind of came into your life.
It was funny. We were here in August at the inaugural Las Vegas Songwriter Festival. They had 50 songwriters here at the Mandalay Bay, and they have 300 number one hits amongst them.
Wow.
And we were able to. That's where we met Dean Dillon and Paul Overstreet, Eric Pasley, um, um, Paul Jenkins, who wrote Tennessee Orange with Megan Maroney.
Wow, another hit.
I mean, these guys all are big hit makers. Billy Montana. I mean, the list went on, and they were all so gracious. But we were in a show one night to watch Dean Dillon, and this gentleman walked up and handed me his business card, and he said, "We know what you're doing. We like what you're doing, and you're going to be hearing from us." And I went, "I don't know who this is." And so another guy came up a minute or two later and said, "You know who that is?" And I said, "Well, apparently it's Niall Henson. I don't know anything about him." He said, "Look him up. Google him."
Yeah.
What a story. And so to have the opportunity to sit down with that guy changed an entire generation, how an entire generation watches television, and from the children's programming on Nickelodeon
Yeah.
up to, rock and roll. He toured with the Who, flew
Wow.
on their plane with the Who, and
Oh,
told stories about Pete Townsend, and I mean, it's just crazy. The people, and this has all happened organically. We have interviewed like 220 people in 18 months
incredible.
and posted 150 episodes.
All of these episodes that you're mentioning that you've filmed here at the NFR, are those available to watch now or is that
Last
coming
year,
soon?
last year's are all available now, and I reposted some of those while we were in town because I don't have access to my computer, and
Sure.
you know what this is like.
I
So,
do.
it's been crazy. So we reshared some of those the first week we were in town. This week's gone totally blank. Everybody's wondering where I'm at. They know where we're at. We're posting daily,
You're
almost
busy.
daily on our social media to let people know what's going on. We've been at the Rio at the watch party. Those guys have been the Cowboy Lifestyle Network. Bill Blanchard and those guys have just gone over and above to help us.
Yeah, that's really awesome. And it's amazing that you have such a support and so many people that are jumping on board because they can obviously see that this is an incredible opportunity for this podcast and for these stories to be told, and you're doing such a great job at it. And I mean, if you're not already enthralled with his storytelling just by him sitting here, you can imagine this guy in his element with all of these amazing artists and songwriters and musicians who really shaped country music, and not just country music. I mean, Americana and folk and all
Correct.
sides of
Yeah.
that part of the industry. What are some of the most impactful moments, maybe when you were most inspired by some of these people because of overcoming adversity or knowing how tough this industry is and still having such incredible success? Those conversations had to be woven in amongst everything that you've been talking about.
Yeah, and I get a little emotional.
That's okay. We get emotional on this
Yeah.
stage. Its
So
roots run deep. This is a heart to heart.
music impacts us all in different ways. So depends on the moment.
Yeah.
Depends on the song, where you're at in your life. I interviewed a guy named James Dean Hicks, a songwriter out of Nashville. He has, I think, 7 number ones. Excuse me. And he said, "Music is the salve that heals all."
Ooh, that's powerful. That sums it up right there. That's something that he's so right. Music sticks with you. There's moments in our lives that music is such a important part of, from when kids are born to weddings and all of these big family moments, but then also career moments. And I know a couple friends of mine, when we've been traveling and big things are happening in our careers, there's songs that have been prevalent in those moments as well. And so whenever you hear it, it brings back those emotions. And
Oh yeah.
those songwriters do such an incredible job of capturing emotions in just a few minutes of really impactful songwriting and music and storytelling.
Yeah, Trisha Yearwood has a song that's the song remembers when.
Mm.
So that says a lot.
It sure does. Yeah. If you were looking ahead, of course, you've done so many interviews, but you're also just getting started.
Wow.
What
Yeah.
are some of the soonest that you'd love to interview, or some legends and icons that you'd love to have the opportunity to chat with?
Well, obviously, Cody Johnson. I'd love to interview the King, George Strait, but
Right. Hey, you
Wouldn't
know
we
what?
all?
Don't count that out yet.
One that I'm really looking forward to because you guys have a connection, hopefully someday, is Trent Willman.
Yes, he's awesome.
Been a fan of his for years,
He's had a hand in so many artists' journeys, including Cody
including Cody
Johnson.
Johnson. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you can get them on together. That'd be kind of
Oh,
fun.
how cool would that be? Well, and we all kind of relate because I roped. I mean, I team roped. In fact, I told your mom this story a few years ago. I did a celebrity team rope in Idaho during our IMPRA finals, and I tried to get Trent to come and rope and then perform. He was out of our budget at the time, so he was still touring, and but what a cool guy! I just think the world of him.
Well, we do too. And he really is a cool guy. And it's neat to know that, you know, you're looking at all these young artists and you know it's hard for them to pave a way. But if you have guys like Trent Wellman out there that are producing
Oh
and
yeah.
really have a heart for the industry and they want these young artists to be successful, I mean, he really helped Cody build into the legend that he is. And I know it's weird to say Cody's just getting started because he's not just getting started. It's
Oh
been
no.
years and years, but
Right.
I know his career is just going to blow up for so many years to come.
Well, he's the next George Strait. I mean, I really see that in his music, and we've been really fortunate to have interviewed some songwriters that have written songs for Cody, who've
Yeah.
written a ton of songs for George, obviously. Um, uh, it just the list we over 40 songwriters, major songwriters that have had multiple number ones that we have had the honor of interviewing.
Yeah, that's amazing. And really can't wait to start listening to everything. But before I let you go today, I would love to know a couple things. One, when it comes to the way the industry's evolved over the years, of course, we all love music, we all love live music and all of that. The industry evolves, trends change, and things like technology and social media start making their impact as well. Of course, social media has really grown over the last 10 years, especially the last 5 years since the introduction of TikTok becoming such a big deal. I've talked to artists and they say that has had a major impact on the music industry when it comes to discovery of artists, but then also some of the songwriters are like, hey, we try to put these songs out there so they'll go viral and the fans will ask for somebody to pick them up and run with them. And then also, it's got to have an impact on the community building aspect of it too. Fans have such an access to the behind the scenes and the life of what these artists are living and it's different than what it used to be. I feel like we saw these artists on TV or on a stage, but we didn't really get the full picture.
Well, you can literally live their lives with them
Yeah.
through social media, and those that are active, not everybody buys into that,
Sure.
and but yet you're right, and the industry's changed a ton, and we ask this question a lot
Yeah.
because the big concern lately is AI.
Sure.
But AI will never replace a live person on a stage
Yeah.
ever, and
Yeah.
there's no replacing a live music experience.
Yeah.
If you want to listen to somebody on the radio and you want to listen to AI, go ahead, but it will never ever feel the need for a live music experience. Um, some of the streaming platforms have been really, really good, just like social media for the music industry, but they've also been horrible for it
Yeah.
because the unfortunately, as we've learned in the last 18 months, there are a lot of songwriters out there that are now back on the road touring because they need to make a living.
Sure.
And we tell everybody, go to the concerts. So buy a ticket, go to the concert, or go to the show if it's in your local venue or local bar. Throw $20 in the tip jar. It didn't cost you that much. You didn't have to buy a ticket to that one. Throw $20 in the tip jar and go to their merch table. That's what keeps those guys on the road.
Yeah.
Those t-shirts, they have to sell. They have to sell. They have to download 6,000 streams to make the same money they make on a single t-shirt. So it's just crazy. We interviewed a band. They got notified by one of the major streamers, said, congratulations, you got 1 million streams on this song. And he said, and we took that money and we went down to McDonald's and we bought 2 McChicken sandwiches.
Oh, watch
It
out.
doesn't pay. It doesn't pay anything, guys. It pays 0.0032 cents per stream
Yeah.
on Spotify.
Yeah.
It's terrible. Taylor Swift, there's this many artists making a living from Spotify. Does it add to their income? Yeah, a little tiny bit, but it's pitiful.
Yeah. And I think that's another way that maybe social media is helping some artists too, because they are accessible. They're able to get some of these brand partnerships that also can supplement their income along the way. Those brands are able to support them in their journey. And of course, it works both ways. You have someone of notoriety promoting a brand.
Sure.
And that's the goal for the marketing team. But it works vice versa because it's really helping kind of keep them on the road.
Well, on that note, we're in the same boat because we've actually in 18 months this has been self-funded. We did set up a Patreon account. I'm not sure quite how to push that deal. We're still trying to get monetized through our social media avenues, but the big challenge is to find those partnerships with a and support a brand that we can help promote and support. And we're still young in this deal. We'll have 1 million views on our podcast this year, which is to me is mind-boggling. Now that's across all platforms, right?
It
Social
counts.
media and YouTube, but it all counts. People are laying their eyes on it. They know about us, and we've got a great sponsor, a great guitar sponsor called Close, which is out of Provo, Utah, which they're stepped up recently, and so we're really looking forward to a long career with them.
Yeah, and I have no doubt this is going to be going on for years to come. It's so exciting to watch your journey. I'm so honored that you sat with me today and had this conversation. You're a wealth of knowledge, and I'm so excited to go listen to all of these episodes. One more time before I let you go, tell everybody how to listen and follow along.
Musical Miles podcast. It's really simple. Just go where you can find us anywhere on. So if you just Google us, we pop up. The website's there. We're on YouTube and all streaming platforms and all social media platforms. So we need to do a better job on TikTok, but we're pretty active on all the others. So
That counts. You can't just be good at them all, Byron,
yeah.
right off the bat. We got to
Yeah.
build towards something.
Well, I have goals. You've given me something to aspire to. You have this wonderful team that backs you up, that's here to help you. Thank you for having us.
Oh, I really appreciate it. You're right. Shout out to the team. They're
Yeah.
amazing. Couldn't
Yeah.
do it without them. Byron, thank you so much for being here. Y'all check out the Musical Miles podcast. So many amazing songs and stories to share. Byron Duffin at Musical Miles here on Roots Run Deep Vegas Edition. We'll be back with more. Hey, friends, welcome in to Roots Run Deep Vegas Edition. I'm your host, Mackenzie Kimbrough, and joining me now on the show are two sweet friends who I am so excited to tell you all about today. They are well rounded gals, and there is a laundry list of things that I could introduce them as, but we're going to just try to skim the surface here. Miss Lauren Oakes, you are a creative visionary, you are a fashion stylist. There is so many things that you have your hand in, and I can't wait to get into all of it, but fashionista for all, but also there's a lot of business mind behind that red hair. And then Siena Paglia, singer, songwriter, horsewoman. She's been on Yellowstone. You might recognize her. So many things to get in with both of you guys today. But of course, first and foremost, thank you both for being here. I know you've been very busy this week, so I appreciate you taking the time to come and chat with me. I'm going to get things started by asking you both about your roots. Lauren, we'll start with you. Tell us a little bit about your roots and where you come from, because I know this is quite the story, and you've really had a journey of resilience to get to where you are today.
Yeah, so I'm from Kansas originally. I moved to Nashville when I was in my teens. I've had a little bit of a crazy road. I mean, just to give you the Cliff Notes version, I went into foster care. I came from an abusive home. Was homeless literally when I was 18, so had to kind of pull myself up by the bootstraps, so to speak, and kind of develop that grit. I worked 3 jobs to get an apartment, still in high school, mind you. Graduated high school with honors, but I just didn't let that define me. And so, kind of my life has been all about grit and developing a career when I had my child, because I became a single mom at 26 and really just establishing myself in the corporate world. But thanks to my husband and the family and the support system that I have, I was really able to dive into my creative passion and to start this new endeavor and career. And it's been an amazing journey.
It has, and I'm so excited to share with everybody everything that you have going. Before we move into it, though, Sienna, I'm going to give you the opportunity as well. Introduce yourself, your roots, where you come from.
Well, I was born and raised right here in Las Vegas, so it's very convenient when the NFR comes in town because I don't have to pack anything. but I, uh, like I said, grew up here in Vegas. Grew up riding horses, singing country music. My mom put me in music lessons when I was very young, and then I guess I was a cute kid, so she had me do some modeling and photo shoots here and there. and I've really tried to expand my career on my music, my modeling, and my love for just cowgirling.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you guys are good friends and you work together on a lot of different elements. And we're going to get into all of that, of course. I know I keep saying that. But Lauren, we're going to take it back to you for a second here. When you first started into your career, as you mentioned, it was not necessarily a traditional path. There was a lot of survival along the way, and it wasn't necessarily a pursue a passion moment in the early years. Of course, raising a child and then able to meet your husband and get married and have him come into your life, that was a blessing. But as you went through your career, it was corporate first, and then you were able to kind of rediscover and shift. What was that experience? How did you get from that corporate world to being able to pursue something like this creative passion?
Yeah, so I'm very thankful for the corporate background that I had. When you're 26 and you're a single mom and you're supporting a child, you kind of have that life moment where you're like, I might not love this, but I have to provide. And so, I started in catering sales managing in hotels. So, hotels is my background, and worked my way up as a director of sales and marketing. And I did that for a decade. And I'm so thankful for that experience because the corporate background has really taught me a lot about just how to handle myself professionally in the creative space, especially. You still have to handle yourself as a professional, but being with sales, I know how to handle like going after things as well and not just letting them fall back and come to me. So it's been a great blessing as far as like starting transitioning into this career with that background.
Sure, and the ambition and the grit that's built with having to, work to survive essentially, and then being able to take all of those life experiences as well as the business experiences and turn that into something that you're able to go ahead and pursue. You've always loved fashion. I know that's been something, growing up you had a love for it, and then how did it circle back? I know some of your friends were involved. There was some shopping of the closet, I'm told.
So so it kind of started when I was in 4th grade. I used to have notebooks full of fashion designs. I was like, I'm going to be a fashion designer. And that was my goal and my path. But obviously life happens,
Sure.
paths change, and kind of the road there might be very curvy and bumpy. But honestly, this all started. My husband told me I had a shopping addiction.
That's okay.
And he said, you need to figure out how to pay for your shopping addiction.
This is where the business mind clicks in.
And I was like, yeah, I'm not stopping shopping.
No.
So how do I make money doing this? And I started really renting
Yeah.
pieces out of my closet, styling friends. That turned into styling other friends. That turned into what it is today. And the fashion design has circled back around, which is really cool. I never picked up a sewing machine in my life until a year ago. So that's also been a fun little road and experience to that too.
And I'd love to talk about that. The creative process behind the actual fashion design is amazing. It's so fun to follow you on social media because you never know what she's going to be posting about. She'll post this little sneak peek of like a concho or some fringe or something, like some cool little element. And then it turns into this like epic outfit that's completely out of the box original. Haven't seen it done before. Your husband, I know, helps you execute these projects.
The one tonight she's
Bless
is gonna
his-
be
yeah.
good.
Oh
Yeah.
boy,
Saying.
little super glue and hope for the best moment going on tonight, or what's going?
It's gonna be. I have a couple. I actually have 2 different outfits for tonight.
Perfect. I love that.
One is a co-design that I've done with another girl. Her name's Taylor, and we came up with this concept over a year ago. And I really love mixing patterns that are not traditional in Western
Yeah.
fashion with Western traditions. So it's going to be a really fun outfit that is very unexpected, but still falls in line with the Western culture.
And I think that goes well with a lot of the outfits that you've created. They all have some of those traditional Western elements, but very much a modern edge sometimes too. And that's kind of neat to see because not many people are out there wearing those kinds of pieces, and you're able to bring your unique style to everything that you design. What's that creative process look like? As I mentioned, you execute a lot of those looks with your husband. So walk us through it, start to finish.
So, when I have an event such as this, or I'm styling for somebody for a PR press tour, I really kind of dive myself into that event and what it involves to be in that event, in that space. I develop vision boards, I come up with palettes that I want, textures that I want, color schemes that I want, and I dive into building outfits. And if an outfit doesn't exist, but it exists in my head, I have to make it exist in real life. So my husband loves and hates me because I pretty much every night, I'm not kidding. I sit on the couch and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just had the best idea.
Oh boy, get
And
ready.
I'm like, do you think that you can cut 3 foot long fringe? And I need it like really skinny. So it's going to take a while, but can you do it?
And of course he's like, I guess.
He's like, sure.
Yeah.
We'll give it my best shot. And he's so OCD, which is actually a really good thing for leather making and that kind of stuff. And so, really, a lot of my hardware on my leather pieces and some of the delicate things that I produce, it's really behind the scenes made by my husband, which is really cool. So, we collaborate and work as a team. And yeah, sometimes we butt heads because in my head, I'm thinking about the final product and he's thinking about operationally how to get there.
Yeah.
And so he has to talk me off ledges sometimes because I'm like, this has to exist. I need you to figure it out. And he's like, that can't exist. That literally, physically cannot happen. So we really take the time to sketch things out, to think about how, because a lot of my designs, they don't have a template, right? Like I'm not going out and buying a pattern and then I make the patterns actually myself on mannequins out of muslin fabric first before I ever touch the fabric. So it's a lot of trial and error when you're doing it that way to try to figure out how, especially leather and cowhide. Cowhide's a total different beast on having to figure it out. I mean, it's come a long way since I first started working with cowhide, but it's a process of trial and error, and you have to fail a bunch to figure out the process to get to the actual like product piece that's successful. And then yeah, so now with all of this, I've just been doing individual custom pieces, right, which takes longer.
Yeah.
But I'm in the process of working with a manufacturer to try to actually bring my designs and labels because people want them.
Yeah.
I just can't produce them at the speed that they want them because I'm slow. So I'm hoping that in this next year, as I dive in, this is a total different new space for me, right? Like merchandising and manufacturing. So I'm having to kind of teach myself a new skill, so to speak.
Sure. And talking about some of those designs that have been so sought after, as I mentioned, it's always fun to follow you and your creative vision come to life on social media. But one of them that's really kind of taken the Western fashion game by storm is the snaffle bit. And I know Siena is #1 model for that. That's how that whole idea came to be. Siena, we're going to talk about your roots here a little bit in your career as well. But before we get into that, tell us about this viral snaffle bit moment and what that's evolved into with you guys and your friendship.
So Sienna actually came to me with her horse's bit, and I'll let you kind of dive into how this actually full circle happened because she knows I'm like, my mind, when somebody brings me an idea, I'm like, yes, let me figure out how to make this. So I'll let her tell you about how this happened.
So one day I was at the barn. I was changing my horse's headstall from an O-ring to a D-ring, and her and I really love bronze. Like she just started to get me back into like liking more just warmer tones because I was a silver girly for so long. Now I mix all kinds of metals, and so I looked at my horse's bit and I was like, I like this color. I said, well, how can I wear this? And I love 70s retro vibes. And I was like, I love halter tops. So I said, okay, you're going to think I'm crazy, but I have this idea. So she goes, all right, let's do it. So that is how we created the viral horse bit snaffle halter top.
So it was a fun creative project, and we probably went back and forth for like a month on different concepts and ideas, and ultimately settled on the one that we did because of the fact that you need a stretch material in order to get that snaffle really tight on the back. So that's kind of where we landed, was on the sketch that I did for the cow. It's a beautiful cow neck where it can be more conservative if you tie it up, or you can have it a little sassy moment if you want to go out. But yeah, this horse bit, it's so funny to see the different memes that are being made with it.
Oh yeah.
I'm so loving it. It's fun to see that it's resonating with so many different people.
It is. And of course, I know that has a lot to do with the creative behind it, the vision and executing it, and the way that you guys have also styled it, because it's been really, you've styled snaffle bits in a few different ways now, and it's neat to see the evolution of that and kind of the different tops and the different outfits. We talked to you guys at back number ceremony
Oh my
at the
gosh,
beginning of the
yeah.
NFR, and that was a really beautiful way to wear it, I thought. I mean, I think
Thank
there were
you.
some mixed opinions out there on the internet, but we don't listen to those naysayers.
No,
Fashion
no,
is
no.
for each of us.
Absolutely. So we were talking about back number ceremony, and funny enough, that was actually my first year going. I just have never gone before. I live here. I just like, oh, I'll just make it to the finals when they start. She said, let's go to the back number ceremony this year. I said, okay. Well, her and I had been trying to think of other ways to create hardware or bits into more fashion, because you have to keep creating and pumping new styles out, because once something's out there, it's high, and then you have to keep making new things. So I said, well, let's bring back the snaffle bit for my back number ceremony dress. And funny enough, we somehow made it work. I actually bought the dress, sent it to her, and she fixed it up for me and
Worked her magic.
worked her magic. And then that went completely viral, which was awesome. And I got a lot of actually love on that. And I was really proud of us because I actually want to wear it again.
We can outfit repeat when it's an epic outfit. That's fine.
I think I might do that tonight. It's okay.
Lauren, did you have something to add to that?
I didn't. I was supposed to actually wear a similar dress that I have.
Matching.
I'm still so upset. I ended up thinking that I was going to wear this beautiful dress. And I don't know if you saw the horse bit top that I did where it was diagonal down the spine. So I have another design, but the fabric that came in that I had ordered sadly was not going to work. So in the world of fashion, you have to change real quick and adjust to what times constraints you had, because I didn't have time to reorder new fabrics. So thankfully, the beautiful dress that I chose, I think, was actually the moment.
Good.
So
Yes, I agree. And if you caught our back number ceremony episode, these two gorgeous gals were on with me. We talked about their fashion, so be sure to go back and watch that one. But we have a lot to get to in this interview still today. Siena, I want to talk to you about your career as well, because, of course, we're talking a lot about fashion and these viral moments and the creative of that. But there's a whole other element to your creative side, singing and songwriting. Music is such a passion of yours. You've had opportunities like Yellowstone, for example, which I'd love to hear about in a minute. But how did you get your start in music, and what's that career looked like for you so far?
Oh my goodness. Well, ever since I was young, I would always sing to country radio in my mom's truck. So this is actually a really funny story. I was singing along to Toby Keith's Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue.
It's a good
and
one.
I obviously did not know curse words because I was a young child. So when I sang, "We'll put a boot in your behind," my mom looked at me because I said the real curse word. And I was like, all right, I'm singing country music because I can say bad words in a song. But no, I always gravitated towards music. I was always in choir. I was put in voice lessons, guitar, piano. And then I grew up singing around town here in Las Vegas. And so many events, and meeting new people and having so much training. And it just was so easy for me. It's like second nature to perform and sing and do my modeling as well. And then some big events that here in Vegas as well are the Run for a Million.
Yep.
And I've been doing that for, I think it was 5-6 years now. And I am so honored to always be invited back because Taylor Sheridan's camp is so professional and they're just so kind. And funny enough, the first year I sang at Run for a Million, I introduced myself to him and asked him, I was like, oh, well, if you ever need a real cowgirl on your show. And I had been dreaming of being on Yellowstone for years.
Sure.
For years. And of course, the last season, second to last episode, I made it on there.
Okay, we have to expand on that because that was going to be my next question. How did that come to be? Now we know. What was that experience like? And I feel like this kind of thing sometimes really just falls in your lap when you try to go for it, but then it's a whirlwind and a crazy ride of actually executing and having it happen.
Yes. So, gosh, even before I was on Yellowstone, I would still get invited to his ranch in Weatherford to go sing there as well. And beautiful place, great people. And the story behind the Yellowstone deal, like I said, I had kind of been asking him for a few years. And it just evolved. I was actually still living in Nashville at the time when I got the call. I was at my day job at the time, and I couldn't answer, but I saw the transcription on the voicemail saying this person was a casting director for Yellowstone, and I asked my boss. I said, I need to take a break. I need to make a phone call," and I flew out there for a week. It was the most amazing experience truly ever. I mean, it was really a dream come true. And through that, I've met so many people. I'm still friends with some of the cast. I was just with Jen Landon last night. I show Cutting Horses with Jake Ream. And through that, other people have reached out to me to sing for the Dallas Mavericks game or be a faces of certain leather goods or get invited to cool places. So the tumbleweed effect is real, and I am so blessed to experience mine and how God has, carved that path for me.
Sure, and it's neat. We talk about that a lot here on Roots Run Deep, how God has a plan for all of us, and we may not see it right off the bat, or we may not know what doors He's going to open for us, but it's really fun when we get those doors to be opened
100%.
and get to have these experiences. I know that was a big one for you, but of course, I hate to say you're just getting started because you're not just getting started, but I know there's a big career still to come for you because of all the success that you're having. I also want to talk about the songwriting side of things, though, because you two both share the creative side of a brain when, of course, some things are executed in fashion, others are executed in writing lyrics and putting these amazing songs together. I know that's part of your career as well. Talk about the meaningful side of it when it comes to writing these songs. I know some are fun and lighthearted, and then some have a little bit more of an impact to them. What's the thought process when you're going into a writing room?
Well, I think for me and most songwriters, the song can start with a line or a saying, or someone could just be playing their guitar and come up with a riff and kind of like hum to it, or you just come up with something in a dream. Truly, I woke up in the middle of the night before and wrote down something that I dreamt of, and then it just came to me in a dream. But obviously, it's about the story. It's about telling it the way you want to, not how people might perceive it. I would say when I'm writing songs, I want to tell my version of my story and how I can inspire someone else or help someone else, or how this will touch the listener. It's a very personal experience, and you have to be very, very vulnerable at times because you never know by being vulnerable, like how that can impact someone else's life. That's part of the storytelling. You want to grasp people by the heartstrings, or you want to make them dance, you want to make them laugh. It's really fun to connect with your listeners through the lyrics that you come up with.
Sure, and I know that's such a passion of yours and something that it's impactful. We have a lot of musicians on this show through the years just because it's so interesting to hear the stories and kind of the behind the scenes of the music industry. And it's neat to know that your heart behind it is truly rooted in the West. As you mentioned, you're also a horsewoman and you're just getting into some new disciplines. How's that adventure going for you?
Well, I literally grew up riding horses as well. My mom is a horse trainer for years and years. So when she had me, I was just in it, obviously. I grew up riding English horses and Western pleasure, and then I thought, all right, this is getting a little boring. I want to go fast. So I started to team rope and cut now, and I really, really enjoy that. And I am so blessed to be able to live a Western and like cowgirl life that also emulates through my music, through my fashion, and through even my modeling.
Yeah.
I have been signed to a few agencies, which has helped me and my confidence in my portfolio and helping me become more rounded. And it's also great for business. If people see, oh, she can sing and model and write. Okay, perfect. We can book her.
Yep.
So I just want to keep expanding and building on just me as a person and the gifts that God has given me, and really live the dream, because we kind of both really been on a high lately, and it's gonna keep going from there, and it's truly a blessing.
It's so neat to see everything that both of you have accomplished. Before I let you guys go, I've got a couple more questions because there's a few more things I'd love to touch on. But Siena, just mentioning what you said there, it's amazing how rooted you are in the West and how you continue that through everything that you do. Of course, country music also rooted in the West, but all that you have going on, from the fashion to the modeling and everything else. I know that you both have been involved in a lot of photo shoots and on that side of things, of course, modeling in front of the camera. And then Lauren, you've also been a big part of creative directing for a lot of photo and video shoots. I'd love to get each of your perspectives on these big commercial shoots and how beneficial it is to have those opportunities to help share these brand stories as well.
When I first started doing the fashion styling thing and was just on set with some amazing brands, I I'm just such a creative person and I can't help it. Like my brain doesn't stop. And when I love a brand,
Yeah.
I can picture the full storyline, the full shoot. So I wanted to challenge myself and really come up with a full storyline photo shoot.
Yeah.
And the creative process behind that is just so fun for me because I get to have full freedom, not just on the styling, but coming up with the entire concept, the sketch. And this is where my corporate background comes in
Yeah.
very handy because you have to be extremely organized.
Sure.
And I don't have a team of people. This is just me.
She does it all by herself.
Yeah.
So
A one-woman show,
Yeah.
really.
so I have, but you have to. When
Yeah.
you start out and you're building a brand, essentially, you don't have a fallback of a corporate company. It is you.
Yeah.
And so you have to develop those skills and you have to develop them and own them.
Yeah.
So when I first started doing this, just having that organizational factor and coming up with the concept and the vision and then executing it, I have 400 plus models that have horsewomen background, horsemen that are very trained, some on the beginner side. I mean, I have all realms. But these models, it's really fun because I'm not an agency, right? They just want to come and shoot with me.
Right.
They believe in what I'm doing, and I'm
Yeah.
just so honored that I have such a expansive group of people that want to work with me. So really it just kind of starts with this idea in my head and then I just go after it with like relentless pursuit and I make it happen. So on the front end, it takes me about 6 weeks fully of
Wow.
organizing and location scouting and model scouting and styling and
forth with
vision
all the-
board and all the vendors that I pull from.
Mm.
We did a Pendleton whiskey shoot recently in September, and this was a massive, massive shoot. We have 5 women models,
Yeah.
and this campaign has not been launched yet, but it is a group of bad A women.
Hi.
She's in it.
Exclusive.
She's in it. These women are truly, truly amazing writers, have such a plethora of experience. So it was really cool to put this whole thing together. Location scout, we actually shot at one of the ranches the original Marlboro Man was
Wow.
shot at. So there's some historical nodes there. Which is kind of how that vision started. I wanted to produce an all-female version of the Marlboro Man shoots.
Amazing.
So that's what we can expect. But the benefit of doing all this to me and like all the work that goes into it is seeing the final product, right? It's I put that together, that vision came out of my head and now it's here. And it's just very proud moments for me. So it's really cool because it still involves the fashion styling aspect of it. And each project is a different challenge. And I like that. I like being challenged, whether it's classic Western, whether it's more high fashion, like we're runway fashion, editorial. We did the newest edition of Cowgirl magazine coming out.
Yes.
I put together the 10-page editorial. I wrote it. I creative directed it. I styled it. Modeled in it too. And I'm not, mind you, like I model for my social media and stuff like that just
Sure.
to show my outfits, but I am not a model. This is a new thing to me, and never in a million
Disagree,
years.
but okay.
But never in a million
She
years.
does fabulous. So
Never in a million years did I ever think that at the age of 38 I would be modeling. Like I never.
At
you
the
know,
age of 38, get out of here with that.
Uh,
You're in your prime. You're beautiful. You're successful in your career, and you absolutely need to be in front of the camera too.
Well, age is just a number, right?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I think what is amazing about Western fashion and culture is that we're so accepting of all ages. This isn't a New York editorial where they want the skinny, tall, copy paste. I love that we show real women
Yep.
in Western fashion, and I own that, and I love that. The group of models that we have, we're all ages
Yep.
for Pendleton. Same thing for Cowgirl, because I want all women to understand that this is not like a young girls game. This is an all ages game. We can all be a part of this. So that was really fun. I'm excited for that new issue for everybody to get. It's probably in the mail actually when we get back home. So
Okay.
yeah.
Good. Heads up, everybody out here at NFR. Watch your mailboxes when you get home. You guys, it's been amazing to have you on the show. We could go on for hours, but we're going to wrap it up here today. How can everybody follow along with you, Lauren? We'll start with you. Tell us your handles and how can we follow everything that you're doing?
So my handle is Lauren.Oakes, Oakes, and with an underscore at the end, and that's across all platforms. So you can find me there and follow along my fun journey, because this next year, everybody giddy up, we're on for a ride.
I can't wait. I am pretty excited. I can tell there's a
Yeah,
vibe happening here. I see
it's
it.
brewing.
There's
It's
some
brewing.
things
It's brewing. We're cooking.
Yes.
Cooking with grease.
Sienna, how about you? How can we follow along with all that you have going as well?
Oh my. So my Instagram is Siena with one N, Siena.Paglia.
Okay.
And then you can just find me on TikTok as well, Siena Paglia. Yeah,
Amazing.
that's it.
Creative women that are also supporting each other and also hyping up other women in the industry. I think that's so
Yes.
important.
We're a team.
We
Yes.
are.
And a good one at that. And it's so fun to see all of the adventures that you guys have and all of the creative ideas flowing. Can't wait to
I
see
cannot
what's
wait
coming
for
up
y'all
next.
to see what we did. It's
The
gonna
Pendleton
be
one and Cowgirl.
Yeah.
Both of those are coming out in the next month. So
It's gonna be a big-
super
I
excited.
cried
Big
when I saw
time.
the issue. I did. My dad bought a bunch of them offline because he was so excited, and I was looking at it and I was like, "We did it! Our another dream come true." But we all did it.
Team
and
effort.
It's a blessing.
Sure,
Yes.
so fulfilling.
Yep,
It's
thank
amazing
you.
to see all that you guys have done. Can't wait to see what's coming next. Lauren Oakes and Sienna Paglia here on Roots Run Deep Vegas
ma'am.
Edition. Thank you guys for
Thank
being
you.
with me.
Thank
Thank
y'all
you.
so much. Have a good day.
Follow along with all they've got going. We've got more to come here on Roots Run Deep Vegas Edition. Stay tuned. Hey friends, today I want to share a classic recipe with you, my great grandma's hot chocolate mix. It's quick and simple. When she used to make it, she'd make enough for a whole winter's supply. So today, we're actually breaking it down by a 1/10, just so you have enough for your own family. First, we put in 1 quart of powdered milk, followed by 2/3 of a cup of Nesquik chocolate milk powder. And I don't know about you, but this brings back a lot of memories from my childhood. We also add 2 teaspoons of powdered sugar and just about 7 tablespoons of non-dairy powdered creamer. Now, my great-grandma used to say, sugar this to taste, but if you're like me, I add in liquid creamer at the end seasonally to flavor it with all of the special holiday vibes. So all we have to do is mix this all together until it's nice and combined. And then once it's combined, we'll jar it in an airtight container for the winter. Now, each time that you dig out of this, you want to put about 1/3 of a cup of the powder into your coffee mug and then fill it the rest of the way with hot water. Now that we have this nice and combined, I actually want to share this with our ranch neighbors this holiday season. So we've put together a little mason jar with a nice little leopard ribbon and tag on it, and also a mini canister. Again, we want to aim for airtight containers to store this cocoa mix in. To make it easy, we'll just take the lids off and use a funnel just like this, so that the mix doesn't go all over the counter. But if it does, don't panic. If you're anything like me, it might. We'll just pour that in. Now, if you fill these a little bit too full, no problem. Just hold your jar and funnel over the original container and bring it over just like that. Everything's just fine in there, nice and full. We'll put our lid right back on and add back our cute little ribbon decoration. And just like that, you've got a cute little hot cocoa gift for your neighbors. Well, friends, that'll do it for our Las Vegas National Finals Rodeo edition of Roots Run Deep. We've had a great year. I'm so thankful for all of my guests as well as all of the crew that makes this happen. We have Bart and Janae from Salty Roan Productions and Longshot Studios, Benji Bendeley from Crazy Heart Sound and Lighting. The stage literally would not be as well lit or well heard without him. Ben Benavides as well with the amazing screen back here. Miss Aaliyah has been running that for us most of the time. And Group W, of course, for giving us time on the stage. Appreciate the Cowboy Channel app crew for having us on the app as well. We've had a great time this year. We have so much more to come in the future. Stay tuned. We'll see y'all next time.